online communities can work for you to build your brand organically. So tonight we are going to talk about communities and how to reach this community and also create your own network. First of all, to understand a little bit more yourself and who you are and what you like, but also to start connecting with your peers and trying also with this connection to build your brand, because within these communities, essentially, there is people that share the same value as you, the same interest.
Hi.
They are your potential customers. So to talk about all of that, I invited Gill Perkins, who is a founder of jamjagill.com. Hi, Gill. Nice having you.
Thank you for having me.
So, can you please let us know a little bit more about how we use this community and how we find our niche?
Absolutely. So the first point I really want to make is around the first step to building a community is the need to find your niche, as you say. But how do you go about doing that? I think the first thing you need to do is find people who inspire you. And so have a look on Instagram. Instagram is a great community to build a community within. And it's just a case of finding people who inspire you. And the more people like that you follow, then you will start to work out what you want to do and what niche you want to be in. So that's kind of the key sort of start to it, really. And then once you find that within your niche, it's all about finding what I refer to as your primary identity. So for example, for me, that's being an eco-blogger, which covers quite a wide range of things. But then you have like a secondary identity. So there are groups which you can connect with, etc., which you'll find people who you have something in common with, but you don't necessarily have everything in common with. So for example, with me, that would be mums or twin mums or something like that, so that you might not connect with everyone in there on everything, but it's still a worthwhile group for you to join, really. So sorry, I'm just checking my notes as I go. So yeah, so that's sort of like the key thing, is finding like your overall identity, and then secondary identities, secondary groups which you can join. And then as you sort of grow in confidence, then you'll understand more and more about your own niche, and you'll be able to sort of filter out the people who you don't necessarily have a lot in common with anymore, and focus in on the people who are likely to be people who you want to collaborate with going forward, really. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's so important joining all of this community when you start, or even before when you start. It's something that for many years I've been interested into sustainability, nutrition, and I start following these people and connecting with people, and it opened so much kind of doors in terms of, understanding about, what was this industry about, or, was in this industry I could connect to, and after when also I decided for me to start my business, it was so much easier because all of this research in a way was already done, or at least part of it. And after it was just kind of after reach it out of them and saying, hey, I'm Laure, I have a business, do you want to collaborate? So I think it's great you're saying that.
Yeah, I think this is the thing, is why it's just wonderful to have a community and build community as part of whatever brand you're trying to build, because it basically gives you a safety net, and it also So you have people who are working in the same space, who are interested in the same things. So when it comes time that you need to, say, do interviews with people, or you want to product test something, then you already have a network there. So it's just, whereas if you weren't to build that first, then you'd kind of be going into it just on your own. And I think being an entrepreneur, or trying to be an entrepreneur, can potentially be quite lonely if you don't make the effort to build the community first.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
What I wanted to add, every time when I join a meetup like yours, for example, your Sunday meetup, or I discover new people online, and a lot of them started as influencer, or kind of just sharing their journey and learning about eco-friendly product and stuff like that, at the same time be ambassador for some of the brand. And after, you can see this kind of influencer moving from influencer to after owning their own brand, because for so long they build their network, their followers, they learn so much about brand, and how people, which product people like. They've been testing also this product themselves, and after, sometimes either they create their own product, or they have their platform where they sell the product they like. So I think it's so important, like joining a community at the beginning. And but what I would like to know now is, how do we find this community then?
Right. So the concept of meetups on Instagram is something which I only came about on Instagram less than a year ago myself, but it really did transform my whole experience of Instagram. It isn't looping, which is something I just briefly say. It's something which is like the dark side of Instagram, really, is how I see it. Basically these things where you end up following a large group of people, but you have no real connection with it. It's very much numbers over quality. It's quantity over quality. Meetups are quite different. They're basically a post in someone's individual feed where they ask people who are interested in a certain subject to comment below and introduce themselves. And there's no rules around, or there shouldn't be any rules around, you must follow like all these people or anything like that. It's literally a case that you use those bios that people write to go, oh, that person interests me, or oh, I like what they're doing, and then you go from there, and you use that as like a notice board of people who you might be interested in talking to further. So it's then for you to take that as your sort of basis to then do that and communicate with them further. So yeah. Yeah, that's basically what a meetup is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I can add on this point, I mean, I started joining quite recently. I feel like, oh, I should have find all of this meetup like years ago. But anyway, I find this meetup, and I think it's how I find you. Yeah, I think it's how I find you, and I just love it. I mean, it's so just. It seems that everyone is there. Not everyone, but at least a good group of people where you can connect. Instead of searching online, stuff like that, is so much easier. And as you said, I mean, for me, for example, is where almost all of the guests I interview is where I found them, in Meetup. And it's great because you start having this conversation instead of, sending a direct message, and, it might go in the folder when it's kind of the spammy folder, so your guests might not even see it. Then here, at least, it's kind of a safe place, which usually, yeah, as you said, you introduce yourself, and if people also are interested about, you and what you do, then they would follow up. If they're not, fine, and just carry on. But for me, I find probably all of my guests and new brand, just interesting people who share about education around sustainability and stuff, and I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. And it's just, it's so great because I think because there aren't like all these rules listed at the top, like literally the only things which are put at the top of the post, I've now gone on to, as you said, I run 2 meetups myself on my own profile. So I do Sustainability Sunday and I also do Wellness Wednesday because there didn't seem to be a lot of meetups in the wellness space, in the holistic space, which is something else which I'm interested in. But all I put in terms of rules is that that try and get people to tag other people who might be interested in the meetup, and also to share on their stories to just get the word out. So it's not about people like forcing upon people to follow people who they don't want to follow. So I think that attracts a certain type of person, therefore, to the meetup, and they end up just being genuine people who are genuinely interested in that subject and genuinely want to connect with people, whether that is being a mum, whether that is being into eco stuff or being into I don't know, holistic stuff. I mean, I'm just using examples I have, but there's ones for all different categories out there. Like if you're into food, if you're into cooking, if you're into interiors, there's so much opportunity to create a community through meetups.
And so once we find all of these meetup, how do you establish kind of yourself within this community?
Mm-hmm. So basically what I do is I've created myself a brief bio, which is like probably that big, which just introduces it. It says who I am by name, it says what my brand is, it says what I'm about, and it says something along the lines of check the links in my bio for more information, or please drop me a line to connect. And basically I've copied that into my phone so that you can paste that in the feed on the meetup, and so that's just makes it so much easier. And then, as you said, people can read that, and if you're of interest to them, then they'll message you or say, do you want to connect? And they can either do that by actually commenting on the thread itself, or they can private message you to do that. And that's how you kind of end up connecting with people.
I mean, for me, I'm doing the same. I have a bio that sometimes I do update slightly, but it's always kind of the same bio because, I mean, what I do doesn't change anyway. But I think after maybe what people need to consider is just posting your bio, of course, is great, but you will need to try also to interact with other people and, you know, be really genuinely interested about, you know, what they do, if you are, and write a nice comment and, you know, check their profile and try to engage with them. So, I mean, it's what I've done, and people were interested about what I was doing. Then, you know, we connected, and if they were not, we haven't. And it's all fine. It's better anyway, because as you said, this follow, no follow, or follow everyone is. I mean, it's a topic that in the future we'll talk about with another guest. But yeah, so it's all about just really get engaged, like you go in a physical meetup where you talk to people and, you know, get interested, ask questions and stuff like that. So yeah, so yeah, thanks for that. I will miss any point about
let me just double check. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, so I mean, just leading on from, so once you've posted your own bio, then as you rightly say, try and start conversations, go back through the feed and see if anyone takes your interest and be proactive with that, and just try and comment and like if anyone likes your profile equally, then click into their profile and see if it's something of your interest, and just use that as a feed, use that as a lead, to use a sales term, to connect with people, and just try and be proactive as possible and make use of it. Because even in the ones which I run myself, sometimes I get bogged down in the admin of resharing people's posts and I forget to get involved in the conversation. So I'm now making sure that each week I go through the feed myself, and I connect with people myself who I want to connect with for my eco brand, in addition to the aspect of hosting it and having the community there. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, what people need to remember also is most of people like yourself organize this meetup on a weekly basis. So you have the one on Sunday, the sustainable one, and the one on Wednesday about self-care, right? Well-being.
Yeah, it's like holistic health, self-care, yoga, massage, aromatherapy, all that sort of piece. Yeah.
I need to join this one. I haven't joined this one yet, but because I love that I'm doing this self-care Friday. But what also so people need to kind of understand, it's not because you go once to a meetup that you're going to build your brand organically. So it's something that you have to do. If it's not on a weekly basis, trying to do it, as often as you can.
Yeah, schedule it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and
keep in when your favorite ones happen and keep going back to them.
Yeah, I mean, what is good is what I found is sometimes you will find the same people, but most of the time you will always find someone new, because also there is this aspect of us as guests coming to this meetup, sharing also in our story about this meetup. So we spread the word, so new people the next time will join. So yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so wonderful how many people are part of the eco community as well, and it really genuinely gives me hope about the future and that people care about it.
Oh yes, it's such a community growing every single day. It's just amazing. I love it. So thanks for all of that. Before we finish, I would love for you to share with us your 5 top tips.
Sure. Just basically to once you've made these connections with people, make sure you keep them up, and keep reconnecting with them, and follow up on things. Equally so, if people have expressed an interest to collaborate with you, suggest that you communicate then off of Instagram, because we all know what it's like when we're trying to manage Instagram, that all the messages, then you get so many through there, everything gets lost in there. So what I always would do is, if people say yes, I want to collaborate with you, as I did with yourself, I said, well, let's talk about this more on email, and then we exchange emails, and we took that relationship to the next level, so we could then do that and organize that. So that's definitely a top tip. Also, this thing about having a bio. I use a app which I actually looked up yesterday what it was. I remembered it was called Swiftkey, but it seems it's actually been bought out by Microsoft. So it is actually a keyboard on my Android phone, which has a clipboard in it, so you can literally just save all your responses, and obviously, as you say, you can then add to them, but at least you have a basis there, so you can just quickly paste that in rather than rewriting it all out. So that's a real big time saver. Also, it's well worth creating a media kit within Canva, which is, if you haven't heard of it, it's a great free piece of software in your browser. They do a paid one, but to be perfectly honest with you, the free one is excellent, and it has templates, and it's a basic graphic design program, which is very user friendly, and it's really great for using to share story posts and everything, design that sort of templates as well. But have a media kit to hand with all your details in, and testimonials and brands which you've worked with before, which you can then send on to people via Instagram or via email. So that would be key. I don't know if that's 5.
No, sorry, I said tips. 5, but we agreed to 3, and I think it's as much as, good tips, it doesn't matter, but no, it's perfect. So yeah, thanks so much, Jill, for all of that. And so if we want to find you, join your meetup on Sunday or Wednesday, where can we find you?
So basically on every platform I am at Jam Jar Jill. You can find me I spend most of my time on Instagram, but I am on Facebook as well, on Twitter, on Pinterest. I have started my own vlog on YouTube, which I'm trying to grow. So any follows on any platforms, to be honest, any support, much appreciated. And please do drop me a line if you want to collaborate. Equally so, my website is jamjarjill.com. And you can find out everything about me on there. And actually, there's a tab at the top for my latest venture, which is being a virtual assistant. So if you want some help and support in building your business, your small business, from the marketing, social media perspective, please click on that and drop me a line on the email on that page.
Thanks, Jill. If anyone wants to connect with Jill anyway after this live, everything will be in the comments, so you'll be able to reach her if you want. And if you have any more questions about community and meetup and stuff like that, but hopefully you will join us next Sunday or next Wednesday. So thanks a lot, Jill, for your time, for your knowledge, for all of this insight, and hope to see you again soon on the live.
Absolutely. Take care, and thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.